Tonight on The Struggle, we ask whether the election campaign is just one big dress-up party, building a politician-proof bunker, and a foolproof questionnaire to vet PM hopefuls. After much anticipation, the federal election has finally been announced and will take place on the 21st of May. That's exactly 33 days for us to reflect on the past 9 years of Liberal governments and some of our biggest achievements as a nation. Well, according to a 2021 report by the Climate Council, Australia is currently the worst climate performer of all developed countries, based on past actions and future policies. Our reputation improves in other areas, however, as we're ranked only 60th globally for our recognition of refugees, despite holding asylum seekers in detention for as long as 9 years and being repeatedly condemned by UN investigations. Then there is, of course, that Ipsos International Women's Day study, which placed us among the most misogynistic countries on Earth. Not to mention the fact that we're also positioned 25th on the World Press Freedom Index. The list certainly goes on. The accumulation of these accolades has ultimately awarded us with the threat of our Australian Human Rights Commission being downgraded to observer only in the UN. It seems election day may need to be about more than just a good sausage sizzle and yarn this year, but a chance for us to resolve this one step forward, two steps back phenomenon we've come to expect of politics. Despite these desperate times needing desperate measures, the Australian Electoral Commission estimated that last week there were more than 650,000 eligible Australians who had not yet enrolled to vote, while the deadline lapses this evening. With the Greens promising to make university free, Labor offering 465,000 TAFE places without charge, and both major parties planning to slash greenhouse gas emissions, there are plenty of reasons for millennials and Gen Z to show up on May 21st. Still not convinced? Well, think of it like dating. We've set the bar so low for so long, maybe it's time to raise it. No more toads. Speaking of the Prime Minister, we've got Jenny, the federal government's empathy coach, back again this week.
Why, hello there, Ren.
What's going on this week, Jenny?
Didn't you hear? It's Sex Week this week.
I did see the official Channel 10 Twitter account tweeted that we had 6 weeks until the election, but I thought that was just a typo, meant to be 6 weeks.
Well, look, maybe it was just a typo, but we've decided to run with it. It just makes so much sense. After the photo of a certain shirtless hunky new South Australian Premier went viral a few months ago and supposedly won him more votes, we've decided it's not just fake empathy that can win over the public, but sex. With the election looming, we thought we'd better stick with what we know best. The thing is, Ren, unlike empathy where you really have to try and teach politicians, sex just comes natural to these guys. Almost a little too natural, if you know what I mean. Think about it, Ren. It just works. Even with Albo, that weight loss was a ploy to make him look sexier, and that new, much younger girlfriend he's got has been working a treat in making him look more desirable. God, he's been looking good, hasn't he? I'm not too sure I'm even allowed to say that, you know, just with Scott and everything. But I won't lie. Ever since I gave him 2 daughters that he could politicise to make it seem like he cared about women, things have been a little sad in the bedroom. That doesn't mean other Liberal politicians haven't been sexy though. My babe Gladys had to resign last year because she was having a little too much sex. Barnaby had to resign a few years ago because he was also having too much sex. And there probably is a few others who should be resigning because they maybe too have been having a little too much sex.
Oh God, I'll stop you there, Jenny.
Oh no, don't freak out, Ren. Unlike some of the women allegedly involved with these politicians, we've all given consent here.
Right. Well, with Pollys now embarking on a national self-promotion tour, we went out to gather people's thoughts on election campaigning.
When it comes to election season, we often see our politicians humbly trying out the jobs of everyday Aussies. I'm here at Monash University's Clayton campus to see what jobs students think politicians should play dress up as this year. What job would you like to see our politicians try out on the campaign trail this year?
As a swimming instructor.
Kindergarten teacher?
A ventriloquist.
Maybe dog washing. Just getting like down and dirty in the dogs, you know? Something where he has to cut, he gets a bit of fur on him.
Yeah, how come a ventriloquist?
Confident speaking, just like Skirma affects his job, so kind of matches.
Think he has a natural calling for it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Love to see him working at Macca's.
Yeah, do you think he would get the order right, or would he struggle in the drive-through?
I'd say probably get someone else to do it. Yeah.
Fair call. And what about you?
Yeah, I reckon seeing him work at Macca's would be pretty funny.
Victoria's Secret runway.
I want him to touch with his sporty side, get on the basketball court.
What position do you think ScoMo would play on the court?
He's a big guy, so center.
And would you prefer Anthony Albanese or ScoMo on the runway?
Ooh, now that's a tough one. Probably ScoMo.
Out of all the jobs out there, what do you think Anthony Albanese would really excel at?
Being Prime Minister.
Well, it looks like our politicians have plenty of career opportunities if politics doesn't work out. I don't think they should quit their day job just yet though.
Good to hear. Look, not everyone's a fan of getting out and about in the pre-election spirit. So here's Natkis Devereen with advice on how to keep yourself separate and sane.
With the federal election having been called for Saturday the 21st of May, my survivor senses have been tingling and telling me that all candidates are in fact catastrophic. Any carbon copy of the same white man running this country is sure to trigger the apocalypse we've all been waiting for. Forget zombies and extraterrestrial invasion. Tony Apperton budgie smugglers was the first warning we failed to heed. But me, as always, I knew this day would come, and am once again here to share the keys to our survival. Today, I'll be stepping you through how to create your very own bullshit, bogan, and batshit crazy free bunker. First things first, we want to throw all of those hazardous politicians off of our scent. To do this, we can't rely on any traditional signage threatening trespassers to keep out. That won't work given our leaders' history of assuming that all land belongs to them. Instead, put up a very simple kiss a baby this way. They won't be able to resist such a good photo op and final attempt to convince us they're actually good people. Next, make sure you set your bunker up at least 6 feet below the Earth's surface. It is only there you'll be able to escape Clive Palmer's $31 million freedom campaign. And those billboards so relentless, we'll soon be able to see them from space, I swear. When digging out your new barracks, however, do be careful not to go too deep. If you start to hear the screams from the death of journalism, you've almost reached the soul of Rupert Murdoch. And finally, every home needs a few cozy touches. My personal favourite is this change the date, free the refugees, and let women lead welcome mat. One glance and any major politician will disappear faster than Scott Morrison during bushfire season. Though I doubt my very tried and tested methods will ever fail you, in case of an emergency, I suggest you have the following items on hand as a final line of defence. Number 1, some ScoMo Smirk repellent. Number 2, a participation trophy for the Greens. And number 3, some whinge-cancelling headphones for every time Anthony Albanese forgets that criticising the coalition isn't actually the same as having his own policies. And there you have it. Your very own bunker, for the Scott-pocalypse, that is. With May 21st fast approaching, time is of the essence. Godspeed, survivor. I'll see you on the other side, hopefully.
Stay safe, Natkis. Right then, we're off to a quick break. Just spam from Craig Kelly. Welcome back. Now it's time to take a look at the contenders vying for votes this election. In the blue corner, Scott ScoMo Morrison. In the red corner, Anthony Albanese. In the Greens corner, Adam Bandt. Wait, he can't be in the running for PM, he doesn't have a stupid nickname. And of course, let's not forget, over in the yellow corner, Craig Kelly. If you're one of the lucky few Australians unaware of who Craig Kelly is, it's only a matter of time before he personally introduces himself via text. But politics aside for a minute, it seems these party leaders are all cut from the same old cloth. White man, check. Aged 50 plus, check. Glasses, check. Although Scotty briefly broke rank and ditched his specs last week.
Not surprised you're playing state. Falcon.
What a surprise! ScoMo oblivious to an oncoming disaster. Anyway, for more on the leadership race, let's head over to Max Payne.
Sup, bros? It's time for the Payne-cast. I'm Max Payne, and I'm so alpha, the only elections I care about are the ones in my pants. Ayo! Alright, enough fun. Let's get down to business, bros. Because, dudes, it actually is election time. And we're already off to a fantastic start, with two middle-aged white blokes at the helm, and neither of these presumptive PMs knowing a goddamn thing about the Australian economy. One of them doesn't know the unemployment rate, the other one doesn't know the price of petrol. I would tell you which one is which, but does it really matter? They've both got the most important quality of leadership anyway. That's right, I'm talking about manhood. Let's see these cishet white men pop open some beers and wrestle in the mud, man. Like, elections? Nah, voting? Pfft, don't waste my time. Be a man.
Come on, man.
What are these questions out to prove anyway? Like, how much should a man really know about Australia to be its prime minister? I must know enough to be prime minister at least, since I'm an alpha. The price of bread, eggs, and cash rate, that's all housekeeping, you know? And housekeeping is women's business. This election should be about values, Australian values. So if journos would ask proper questions, I'll give you the answers that we could expect. For example, what is Australia's national sport? It's drunken bar fights. And they could answer that. What is the national language of Australia? Now this is a bit of a trick question. It's actually swears and slurs. When Australian men say they are watching the footy, what are they doing? Drinking. Duh, they're men. And who is Australia's biggest movie star? Russell Crowe. What's the current inflation rate? Too damn high. What's the price of petrol? Too damn high. How would you describe a group of bogans? Too damn high. Alright, I'm done. That's enough questions. I probably could do some more, but guys, this is the most thinking I've had to do in a while. My friend James over here has been Googling the correct answers as I've been speaking, so yeah, how did I do, Jimbo? Alright, apparently I got every question wrong, which means I am perfectly suited to be the next Prime Minister. See you guys later. I'm off to the lodge.
Feel free to stay there as long as you like, Max. Media coverage in the lead up to the election plays a huge role in shaping public perception of parties and politicians. So let's take a look at some of the stories making headlines and see if we can figure out whose side each article is taking. People will vote for me because I get the job done, says PM who took a week off during a national disaster. This one's clearly pro-ScoMo. The man is super efficient. I mean, not only does he get the job done, but he also has time to holiday. Work-life balance goals. All right, what about government goes into caretaker mode? Nobody notices. This one's saying the government is such a well-oiled machine that it operates seamlessly in the background without drawing attention to itself on a day-to-day basis. That's another huge compliment for the current PM. And what about this? They are better economic managers, says puffer vest-wearing prick who heard his dad say it. Wow, a young person coming out in support of the coalition. What a rare find. I'd say the government has fared pretty well this week, which is lucky considering how scathing some publications can be. Regardless, let's head over to Karen Kvetch from Neighbourhood Watch to check in on her latest campaign.
The 2022 federal election has finally been called.
and I believe the timing of this call is very appropriate, given that the Melbourne International Comedy Festival is currently happening, and there are a lot of clowns around. These clowns, also known as comedians, believe that they are the best at what they do. And it's very clear that they rate their work exceptionally highly. However, many of their jokes wrongfully vilify my generation, the baby boomers. And I, for one, don't find these clowns very funny at all. In fact, I believe that I could do a better stand-up set than any of them. So I've prepared a little sample of my material for you. Recently, I pinned a Rolex to a street post outside my house. I guess you could call it the neighbourhood watch. I was also in the market for some yoga lessons, so I reached out to an instructor. He asked me if I was flexible, and I replied, I can't do Mondays. Now, the Brighton community is known for wearing woolen pullovers a size too small. I guess you could say we're a tight-knit community. Now, I expect to be hearing from the organisers of the Comedy Festival very shortly about my comedic debut, as I, for one, am sick of the clowns. Their behaviour is unacceptable, and I will not tolerate it.
Hilarious, Karen. Anyway, we're off to a quick break. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to take this. Hello?
My name is Craig Kelly. I'm a member of...
Welcome back. When the future looks kind of bleak, it's nice to reminisce back on carefree childhood youth. So for this week's instalment of What I Didn't Learn at Uni, prepare to lose yourself to nostalgia and strap yourselves in to the big red car as we catch up with OG Red Wiggle Murray Cook.
So in the excitement of voting and winning elections, one cannot go past the winners of this year's ABC Radio's Triple J Hottest 100, the Wiggles. The cover of Elephant won the popular vote with the youth of Australia. Murray Cook, the original Red Wiggle, joins us now. So, Murray, it's great to have you today, first of all.
It's good to be here. Thanks.
So that must have been a thrill, winning the popular vote. So tell me about your campaign strategy. Do you have any campaign strategy?
No, there was no campaign strategy. It was just, record the song and put it out there. And then as it got closer to the Hottest 100, people started saying to us, it might make the Hottest 100. And then the week leading up to it, the media are saying, we were favourites. And it was quite surreal, actually. We've been around for 30 years and, entertaining children. It was not something that was on our agenda, really.
I was listening to the cover yesterday and day before, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna vibe. This got a vibe, and I'm bobbing my head for it, and I'm like, yeah, this is something that I would put it in one of my playlists and just listen to it repeatedly till I hate it.
Yeah,
it'll go on forever and ever.
I think that's why it was so successful with the Triple J audience. A lot of the audience knew Tame Impala anyway, so they knew the song. The audience mostly grew up with us, the Wiggles, and it was kind of in the middle of all that COVID craziness. Hopefully we're coming out of it now, but back then it was, are we going to lock down again? What's going? And so I think it was just, a breath of fresh air and a bit of innocent fun, and there was no agenda. It was just, let's have fun.
Did you have a party for the Hottest 100 like everyone else? Because I'm sure everyone just screamed their minds off.
It's funny, we were in at Triple J when it happened. And so, so we kind of had an inkling at that point that we were fairly high up on the chart. But so we were just in there all together, and that it was a party atmosphere. The Triple J had a party going, so we kind of joined in that a bit, and then ABC Music, who our label, someone from there had a party, so a couple of us went along there. So we didn't really party leading up to it, but had a bit of a party afterwards.
So what was in it? Like, were you serving fruit salad?
No, it was more a grown-up party.
So what would be served at a Wiggles party?
Yeah, probably
Again,
fruit salad.
Fruit salad? Yeah, yummy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, then tell me this: your recommendations for having good parties and winning votes.
Well, good parties, you got to invite the right people, of course. You've got to have the right music. A theme's always quite good. I remember when I lived in the shared house in the 80s, one of our friends who lived with us had been in Antarctica working, and so we had an Antarctic party for when he came home. So we went to Reverse Garbage in Sydney, which has lots of just bits and pieces, and bought polystyrene to make icebergs, and we covered the walls with butcher's paper and had UV lights and smoke machines, and it was pretty wild. So
it sounds like a wild party.
It was quite wild, and a friend of mine, this was pre-Wiggles, but a friend of mine who I played in a band with, and I played music, and we were dressed in. I was dressed in sort of long underwear, and like long johns, and it was just fun. Like, everyone joined in one guy turned up. It was in summer, but one guy turned up in a full bear suit, and he wore it for nearly the whole party. And when he took the head off, he was just dripping with sweat. So I think a theme and commitment to it is important.
Theme, commitment, right people, and music.
Yeah,
and
a drink or two.
Yeah, but definitely fruit salad.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and this was even before the Wiggles.
Brilliant stuff. Now let's cross to Linda Crawford in Brighton for more on her latest passion project. Thanks, Ren. Hair is looking much neater this week. All right, so by now you should all be aware that your own Linda Crawford, Brighton's finest, is running for a seat in Parliament. Yeah, I'm excited too. Anyway, I've been working with empathy coach extraordinaire Jenny, and she has kindly given me 4 of her top tips and tricks to help me become more like a real politician. All right, let's go through the list together, darling. All right. Number 1, never answer a question directly. Okay. Number 2, make everyone shake your hand even when they clearly don't want to. All right. Number 3, even though you're likely more wealthy than the vast majority of people you're representing, remember, you're just one of the people. All right. And number 4, have a strangely intimate relationship with coal. All right, well, I guess I'm already most of the way there with number 4. I absolutely love treating myself to a lovely charcoal face mask now and again, and my toothpaste has activated charcoal in it. So, I mean, you could say I'm a bit of a natural. Yeah, thanks, Jenny, and I hope to see you at my fundraiser next week. Yep, that's right. Linda Crawford, your Linda Crawford, will be holding a fundraiser next week to support my sustainability campaign. Government-funded Botox for women over 40. If we are to face a future riddled with all the natural disasters climate change continues to throw our way, we need to face it with confidence. We need to face it with Botox, people. And I'm proud to announce that the 3 major sponsors of my event are the Brighton Yacht Club, the Brighton Mothers Group, and MILFs United. It's going to be just fabulous, darling. You won't want to miss it. Vote number 1, Linda Crawford, for a sustainable future. Whatever you say, Linda. Now let's check in on the weather.
With Grace Thiem trying her hand at comedy of late, this has inspired us to consider whether or not our politicians are also built for a career in comedy. I mean, think about it. They're charismatic, entertaining, and we really can't help ourselves from talking about them. Let's face it, we're all infested. So let's have a look at some of our politicians' most star factor moments. First up, Pauline Hanson. Best known for her love of fish and chips, you have to admit that she has a very unique way of being inclusive whether you like her or not. We all remember the various political statements against Australia Day protesters claiming that they're playing the victim card. So what if Australia has a history of colonialism? Get over it and move on, you guys. It's really not that hard. However, one of her best performances has got to be this one. Yes, the moment she tried to prove to Parliament that wearing the burqa holds no more of a significant meaning than just simply cosplay. We hear you loud and clear, Pauline. It's most definitely haram to wear a burqa in secular Australia. Leave it to Pauline Hanson to stand up for what is right. You go, girl. Up next, Tony Abbott. Oh, sorry, wrong picture. Former Prime Minister Tony Abbott has done a great job speaking highly of the women of Australia. Don't you remember when he showed major concerns for housewives nationwide? In regards to ironing, well, his concerns for the opposite gender has gone as far as advising them that the best gift they could give their husbands will be their virginity. Such wise and solid advice. As a young woman, I'm tearing up. However, alpha man Abbott has also expressed how he feels threatened by homosexuality. So please, my gay friends, go easy on him. Last but not least, if you're looking for the politician with the most star factor, it'll be our Prime Minister, Scott Morrison. Whether or not there's a huge chance of getting egged or being asked to get off someone's lawn, our very own Scotty from marketing really knows how to keep the show going. Scotty has proven over the years that he has a lot of empathy for women. No, really. From claiming to relate to Will Smith's fiery defense over his wife at the Oscars, to telling Australian of the Year Grace Tame that it must have felt good to talk about her sexual assault, he truly is a man of culture. Whether he's off on his holiday in Hawaii, possibly using taxpayer money yet again to fly in his private jet, we know that we can always count on him. Not to mention, this man sure does love coal. Whether or not politics will work out for them, it's reassuring to know that a career in comedy will not be too far-fetched.
Thanks, Varen. Well, that brings this show to a close. With campaigning in full swing, it feels like politicians are having their own Halloween. There are plenty of dress-up costumes, lots of funny hats, and lots of food you know you really shouldn't be eating. Until next week, trick or treat. I mean, the struggle. It's real.